I wasn't really sure how this all worked. Okay. Good morning. Remember who this is? It has been so long since I've made any sort of content on this channel. Well, here I am. Here I am, just coming at you from my little corner of Hangzhou. You can see by the title, like I've been sort of contemplating a few things recently. This question of, is it too late for China to win back expats, for example? Like, because you all know, you've heard the news, you've seen the news. China has kind of reopened the border. There are tourist visas that are being issued. Hey, fantastic. Okay, people are being allowed to come back in. And for a while now, China has been allowing foreign workers to come back in. So, teachers have been coming back in, for example, and like business owners and things like that, people starting up businesses, they've been coming in as well. So that's sort of encouraging, right? Like the fact that China has sort of opened up to the world again. I mean, that's all well and good, right? But the thing is, I'm very curious. I'm genuinely curious to see on this particular live stream, and the video after this live stream is up and going and everything, what the viewership's gonna be. Because one, it's been forever since I posted, right? I mean, we got 4 people in the chat, 6 people in the chat right now. I'm not really sure how to view it while I'm live. I'm doing it with a different sort of software. Oh, it just pops up on the screen. Okay, so hello, finance. Okay, hello, sorry. The text is very small on my phone, but yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes, because one, I haven't posted in like a year or over a year or something like that. It's been a very long time. The text is dragging his back. Sure, it's been so long since I posted. Are people even gonna watch anymore? Have people sort of moved on? Because I know that, based on my contacts in the kind of, hello there, in the recruitment field, I know recruiters, I know people in HR in different places around China. Like, I know these people, and the talk is like nobody wants to come anymore. Nobody wants to come to China anymore. There was a year or more, 2, 3 actually. There was, like, I even kind of forgot it had been so long of this pandemic stuff. There was all this pandemic stuff going on. Just lockdown after lockdown after lockdown, loosen the lockdown, back on the lockdown, loosen the lockdown, back on the lockdown again. And then, people got tired of it and they left. And then the people who got locked out of China initially when the border was closed, they moved on to other fields, you know. They moved on to other fields. And yeah, the party is kind of over, like what someone said. Like, the party is over. Or is it over? Or is it over? It's not, yeah, it's not a party anymore, for sure. And as people kind of moved on with their lives, the interest is no longer here. So yeah, I mean, in the comments, it does seem to be like, yeah, it's sort of over for China, because like people who are hiring for, let's say, international schools, private schools, bilingual schools, even public schools, universities, things like that. Training schools are gone. Training schools are pretty much over and done with. They still exist to a certain extent, but they are almost entirely just off the map, right? Like, you have this entire industry where it was sort of a way for foreigners to get into China to kind of see the country and travel around during their downtime and things like that. That's all gone. And it gave people a sort of and tickets as well, like plane tickets. Yeah, that's a good point. I missed your name, sorry, but that's a good point. So yeah, it just kind of has snowballed to an extent of like, are people even interested anymore? And I mean, I see I've got 16 in the chat right now. That's cool, but it's not nearly what what I used to get whenever I would go live, even with no announcement, kind of like this one. When I would go live with no announcement, I would have, I don't know, I'd have 50, 60, or 100 people at one time kind of piling in. And now we're down to 20. And I mean, that is sort of reflective of what I've heard, of people wanting to come to China. There's just not any interest anymore. The HR people that I've talked to, the recruiters that I've talked to, the people who were on the channel and asking me like, hey, I'm interested in China. I'm interested in China. Can you help me out? Those messages, those messages are it's basically zero. I think I've had two in the last like year or something. Yeah, so things have sort of changed, and now that China has opened, is it too late? So, okay. Now the comments are flashing up really quick, and I don't have time to read all of them. Maybe there's a way I can kind of, check them out here in a second. Oh, this is not as pretty as I thought it would be. There's a little field right here. They usually has some like flowers growing up in it and stuff like that. I thought I would come down and film here. It's not as nice as I thought it would be. Oh well, yeah. There's usually like a lot of like really nice flowers and things like that. There's some growing over there, but it's not quite blooming yet. Oh well. Here, let me see if I can check any of the comments. Let's see. I don't know how to do that. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's see. So, are you going to stick it out? You have been a no-show for so long. Are you going to stay? So, am I going to? Okay. Whoa. Okay. So, yeah, the thing is, am I going to stick it out? Yeah, for the moment. Yeah, why not? Because I'm having, wow, this is a really interesting looking backdrop actually, because the sun is just coming up. It's like 6:30 in the morning or something. But yeah, am I going to stick it out? Yeah, for the moment, because I'm learning some new skills. Yeah, it is raining some. I'm learning new skills. I'm teaching at the high school level at the moment. So, I'm learning a lot. I'm actually, earning a decent amount of money. I'm teaching subjects, not just EL. So there are, there's still a few things to learn. There's still a few things, to give. Fine at the moment. It's just that I just get very busy. If there's anyone here who's taught at the high school level, particularly multiple subjects, such as myself, like, there's not a lot of time to do anything else. So, yeah, it's like 6:30 in the morning, and as soon as this live stream is over, there's a lot to do. So that's kind of part of the reason why. It's also another reason why I haven't posted in so long. It's just there's no time for it. But I figured, let's connect a little bit more, and I can do a sort of live thing like this. I can go live really early in the morning, on to work, or just whenever I am waking up and there's not a lot to do. So why not just kind of connect with the people? So, what I'm curious about is the people who are watching now, as well as in the comments, because I do read all the comments. Like, are you still interested in coming to China, or has that ship sailed? Because I know for a lot of people, that ship has sailed, and they went on to go to like Korea, or they went on to like Japan, or they just decided, no, I want to get into a totally different field. Like, so, I mean, that's something I'm curious about, because the people who watch this channel are people who are interested in China. Okay, so yeah, JH, you're leaving China this summer. Yeah, absolutely. You're waiting for things to get better. Yeah, that's the other thing is, like, during that whole kind of lockdown, open lockdown cycle, like people just were just like, I'm fed up with the instability, right? And they left. So yeah, there you go. Okay, left in 2016. There you go. 2016 was a good time here, though. 2016 to 2019 were like some of my best years in China. Um, yeah, yeah, people moved on. So yeah, it is interesting how the discourse has sort of shifted over the past few years. The discourse has shifted, and people move on. It's like if you tell people, hey, we don't want you here for 3 years. We don't want you here for 3 years. People will say, okay. People will say, okay, and then move on. So I wonder, like, what is it that China will do to incentivize foreigners to come back? That is the one of the main questions I'm sort of interested in, is like, what sort of things, it's always the carrot and the stick thing. Like, what's the carrot that's going to get foreigners to come back into China? That is something I'm interested in. As someone who lives here, I would be very interested to see what happens. So yeah, because jobs are less than they used to be, but the thing is, there are more job opportunities now, right? Because even though the number of jobs are fewer, the number of people applying for those jobs is also fewer as well. There are far fewer foreigners here in China than there used to be. I saw something like 50% or more of foreigners left Shanghai last year. Like, that's an insane number. So now we have crazy amounts of jobs that are open in Shanghai, for example. Like, that's wild. And then, like, you kind of extrapolate that. Well, what about Guangzhou? What about Shenzhen? What about Chengdu? What about Hangzhou? What about, like, how many foreigners must have left China in the past few years? And what does that mean for job applications? Yes, and there also is the political aspect of everything, which I'm not going to get into. I don't get involved in politics, but so there's a real kind of pros and cons list that comes out, and I wonder, for people, like, in the comments, like, what are the pros to you if you're still interested, and what are the cons to you if you're not interested, or if you are interested or don't know where you fall, like, what are both of them? So I kind of want to just pass that off to you, because as someone here, higher management of Intel asked me if I feel like working in China. It feels like they're desperate. Yeah, a lot of places are desperate. A lot of places are desperate, and a lot of, like, international schools and bilingual schools, like, for example, they need subject teachers, and, like, a bunch of these schools are going to go under if they don't get their subject teachers. So yeah, desperate is definitely a word for it. So yeah, I'm genuinely curious what everyone thinks, and kind of like what everyone's thoughts are, because I don't know, it's something I've been thinking about over the long term, over these past couple of years. And obviously I don't have time to get into it in like a 15 or 20 minute live stream, but it's just something, at least I want to kind of get things sort of stimulated as I make my way back into the YouTube sphere. Oh, you're at Sichuan Uni. All right, who is this? Tural. So hello from SCU. Yeah, SCU. I've got some good memories over there at Sichuan University. My phone case for the longest time was a Sichuan University phone case. Had the logo of the school and, like, the coat of arms and stuff on. Not coat of arms, but, like, the seal of the school on it. So yeah, lots of good memories over at Chuanda. So, what I'm gonna be doing over the next few videos on the channel. I'm gonna do some stuff like this, just kind of have a topic for discussion, because I'm curious to just see the comments more than to talk myself. Like, I don't particularly have a lot to say. I'm just more interested in what everyone else thinks. I'm just here to listen more than anything else. Um, so we'll be doing some more things like this, sort of topical little live streams, but also I am going to do a high school versus university video. I'm going to do that because now I've had a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half of high school teaching experience to add to like my, I don't know, 8, 9, or 10 years or however long I was at universities. Plus I worked at a training school for the better part of a year. And so like I've got these kind of comparative experiences that I can talk about. So I would like to do that video relatively soon when the weather gets... Oh, there we go. The China YouTuber community has kind of gone off the rails. I haven't been in the community. I don't really know what's even going on anymore. Everything's become politicized, and no thank you. I'm just a guy living my life. I'm just walking around this city kind of living my life. I'm not particularly interested in all of that stuff. Yeah, there will be the university versus high school versus training school thing. They'll probably funnel that down to university versus high school. And yeah, that will be the next kind of major project. Then the other things will just be sort of topical like this. I put out a topic, ask a couple of questions, give a couple of thoughts, but mainly want to see what, what you guys think, So yeah, any final thoughts from you lovely people? Because I would like to get kind of started with my day, but I feel bad leaving as well at the same time. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Guelo. I don't know what's happening with him. That's not any of my business to talk about any other people or their personal lives or family lives. So I'm just gonna leave that to y'all. But I wish everyone well. I hope everything's fine with everyone. But yeah, I think I'll about leave it there. It was good to kind of touch base with some of you, seeing some of the old names, seeing some of the old names and some of the old kind of avatars. Like I see John SS, I see Jose, I see Gordo, yeah, JH. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of old familiar faces. There's a lot of old familiar names in this. Oh, Master Q as well. Yeah, these are some people that I have seen for a long, long time ago. Terrell, I am in Hangzhou right now. I'm in Hangzhou, kind of in the northeast suburbs of Hangzhou. So that's where I am. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, John has a question. Do you see foreign tourists starting to come back there? I have not seen any. They've only very recently opened up the foreign tourist visa stuff, so I haven't personally seen any. But I mean, they will come kind of eventually. Eventually they'll come, but I guess the question is, will they come in the numbers that they came in before? That's really the main question. Is like, is that amount of money coming back into the economy going to be substantial enough to make up for all the lost time? That's the real question. That's the real question. So that's what I'm more interested in. That is what I'm more interested in. So yeah, let's see. Most of the foreign students have already come back. Wow, that was fast. That was very fast. There we go. Did you see the new museum with dead animals in Chengdu? I mean, no. I don't live in Chengdu anymore. But I mean, I think a lot of museums have dead animals, right? That's every natural history museum, right? They've got taxidermied animals, stuffed animals, so that's nothing particularly troubling, I don't think, right? I don't think there's anything particularly troubling. Let's see. Oof. Interesting. Your biggest student, my biggest problem student ever. I had one with severe autism, crapped his pants in class. The parents blamed me for scaring him. That is an interesting video idea. I'm gonna screenshot that real quick. That is a very interesting idea. My biggest problem student. Oh, I've got a few right now. These angsty teenagers. These angsty teenagers. Everything's so dramatic. Everything's so dramatic with teenagers. I got a few. But yeah, I'll have to think about that. That's quite a good one. So yeah, hey, that was fun. I had a good time talking with everyone. But it is getting time to head in and get my stuff started. Got to meet a couple of parents. Got to design some exercises. Got to make some finishing touches to a PowerPoint. Things like that. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you all very much. It's been nice. Hopefully I will see you all more often. And I'll see